Should Caleb Williams go #1 overall?
Okay, that's not the question you should be asking me. The question you should be asking me is, should the Chicago Bears move on from Justin Fields and draft Caleb Williams?
Okay.
Right?
All right. Well, that's the inference. That's the suggestion, although they could trade the #1 pick, too.
So if you were to phrase it to me that way, I'd have a...
Well, you should answer whatever question you feel like answering.
No, okay? But I'm trying to dance around it a certain way.
Okay.
I don't think that the Bears should trade Justin Fields.
You're on record with that.
Okay, I think that Justin Fields should still be a Chicago Bear. Chicago Bears should draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and go get a tackle with their second pick and build their roster. That's what I think. But I'm not Ryan Poles. Now, let's assume that they do trade Justin Fields. Now, should Caleb Williams be the #1 overall pick? I don't know that he should be the #1 overall pick because I don't know if he's better than Jaden Daniels from LSU.
That's the question.
By way of Arizona State and Herm Edwards and that group. I don't know.
And I don't doubt that Drake May will get in this conversation at some point, depending on how he throws this week at the Combine, because he's going to the Combine, and those other two you mentioned are not going to participate at the Combine.
So we don't know if Drake may. So these things, as I said before, really start right now in the evaluation process. The evaluation doesn't start during the season. The evaluation process starts when the season is over for the NFL, not for college football, for the NFL, because this is the first time outside of the Senior Bowls and the All-Star games that scouts and some coaches get an opportunity to have conversations and sit down and meet with these young men. This is the first time that people that need quarterbacks will be in that building, sitting down, having real deep conversations about the prospects that they are so looking at. Caleb Williams is a really talented person. He's a really talented football player. He's got a lot of skill sets. You go, oh, wow, okay, that's nice. But there's a lot of stuff that you sit back and you look at and you go, nah, I can't live with that. I can't live with 70% of the things off schedule. I can't live with that.
That's what it is.
I can't.
Yep.
I got that already in Justin Fields. So the situation is not perfect. Now, he fits a certain model and skill set, just like Jaden Daniels does, that the NFL quarterback position is leading toward. He's in that same kind of, can he run the RPO game? Same thing as Jaden Daniels. Can he run the RPO game? Can he do these sort of things on the off-schedule stuff? Yes, he can. But when you get these coordinators that don't like that, because everybody's not going to be Patrick Mahomes. Stop the Patrick Mahomes comparisons because he throws the ball a certain way on a no-look because Patrick Mahomes did it. Stop trying to compare him to Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has been in 3 Super Bowls, done 1, 2, got MVPs, $1 billion in contracts. Like, stop it. I get it. It's the easy thing to do. And then when you start to say that Caleb Williams is a once-in-a-lifetime type prospect and, you know, he's the highest grade ever and all, stop. Everybody's the highest grade when they come out of college. I could go a long laundry list of prospects. Oh, I can go all the way back. He's the best we've ever seen. He's the this we ever seen. He makes the biggest throws. And then how does it work out for you? It doesn't work out sometimes so well. Or then it does work out so well. But most of the time, when it works out the way it's supposed to, you know what they look like? They look like Peyton Manning. That's what they look like. They look like Drew Bledsoe. When I'm talking about #1 overall pick types. So when you start saying Caleb Williams, he comes from a system, in an air raid system, that has not produced any quarterback of any significance in a National Football League. Not a one. Well, you know, Kyler Murray had some really good seasons. You really think you're going to win with that? You really honestly think you're going to win a Super Bowl, which is the goal when you drafting a quarterback #1 overall. There's a reason. There's a reason that hasn't worked out at the level that you would think, let alone college, because they ain't won nothing in college either. Nothing. Yeah, well, Oklahoma went to... Stop. Don't want to hear Oklahoma went to a couple Final Fours. Didn't win anything with it.
No.
At all.
But they ran into the SEC twice.
Skip,
it was Alabama and Georgia.
I don't care.
Baker took Georgia to 2 overtimes.
That's great. Baker took him to 2 overtimes.
And Georgia was loaded.
That's great. Baker went #1 overall.
Yep.
He's been on 4 teams since then, or whatever the number is.
He had a good year last year.
Okay, he played well. Let's not turn it into something that is more than what it is. I like Baker too, a lot.
Yeah.
As a person, there's no question about it. Okay, Kyler Murray went to a Pro Bowl or 2. Put up some numbers, can run around. Okay? And I'm talking not only system-wise, I'm talking size-wise too. This is on the smaller side. When you talk about success, I don't want to hear anything about Russell Wilson with the Legion of Boom. I don't want to hear anything about Sean Payton and Drew Brees. Those are outliers, man. I'm just giving you real, true facts. You say, well, look at Patrick Mahomes. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't tell me, look at Patrick Mahomes, he played at Texas Tech. Patrick Mahomes, they passed on Patrick Mahomes. It took Andy Reid and John Dorsey to say he could play. Because everybody else passed on him.
Not John Dorsey. No.
John Dorsey, right?
No.
John Dorsey, the general manager.
He was Cleveland.
No. He drafted Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City.
Yeah.
It's John Dorsey. So when you look at that, Skip, Patrick Mahomes is on the shorter side, but he ain't really short. Patrick Mahomes is a 6'1"-ish dude, but he got Andy Reid as his offensive.
He's a little taller than that.
He might be taller than that. He might be taller than 6'1". But he ain't 5'0".
He's not.
See, he's 6s. I don't know that Caleb, and we'll know because he'll measure and all that. I don't know that Caleb is 6'1.5", 6'2". I don't know that.
I told you the first day I met you back in August, I don't think he's above 6 feet tall. I just don't. He's got a nice base to him. He's got thick legs and he's got a nice power base, but I don't think he's above 6 feet tall.
So when you go to the combine and they measure you, your toes and feet are going to be out flat like this. You're going to be up against a wall, and they take your shoulders and they push them down.
Yep.
So the whole I'm going to extend my neck thing, they not having that. So all I'm saying is you got a lot of things working against him.
Yeah.
And those other quarterbacks will too. That's why it's not a consensus that he's going to be, in my opinion, the first quarterback off the board.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's okay because it's not going to be the #1 pick. It's being in the right place, in the right team, in the right fit to have success in your career. So I wouldn't be discouraged about anything that I'm saying if I'm Caleb Williams. I'm just laying out the facts.
Okay, I'm going to go on record as saying that Caleb Williams will prove to be better than Justin Fields has been or will be. I believe that Caleb Williams will prove to be very good in the National Football League, and I think Justin is pretty good and not bad. I'd take him, especially if I were strapped at quarterback. You can win games with Justin Fields. I believe you can win more games with Caleb. The problem is, if you take him #1 overall, will he go Eli Elway on you, and you know his father? Will they try to power play you into not going to the Chicago Bears because they don't want to be in Chicago in the cold weather, or they don't want to be with that franchise?
Well, the cold weather's not a problem for him because he's a D.C. kid, and if he wants to go to D.C. with a guy that was on the staff,
this is different.
Kingsbury,
this is cold weather.
No, I get it, but you still get a frost, right?
Yeah.
And to try to pull, I don't want to do this or do that or do this or that. John Elway was a first pick in baseball. He was a first rounder in baseball, so it's a little different.
And Eli was a Manning, so he was,
Yeah, but Eli not only was a Manning, he had already been picked #1. He was picked and decided to say, I don't want to deal with the Spanoses in San Diego. I want to go to the big lights in New York.
Yep.
This is a little bit different. It's a little bit different.
Okay. So what did I see from Caleb? So I watched him closely at Oklahoma. You watched him closely the last 2 years. But
I watched him at Oklahoma when he took over for Rattler.
So that Texas game, his true freshman year, he gets thrown into the hottest fire they play in all year long because this is
a bad Texas team, but go ahead.
Okay, but he gets thrown into the fire of a game that ends up 55-48. Neither team could play defense, but Oklahoma pulled it out. And in that game, he was spectacular. And it's hard for a true freshman to get thrown into that and be as spectacular as he was. And I saw true playmaking charisma, where he was not afraid. He said, I will take this game over from Spencer Rattler, who so far in that game had thrown it 15 times, completed 8, 1 pick, and Lincoln Riley, stinking Lincoln, left us. But he just said, okay, I've seen
left
enough.
too. It's Norman, Oklahoma.
Norman, Oklahoma's
for the beach in California. Come on, man, stop it.
I love it. In that game, Caleb Williams walks into the huddle and says, watch this. And he goes 16 to 25 for 212 the rest of the way, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions, has a QBR of 98. This is a raw, true freshman playing his first little taste of college football. He ran the ball 4 times for 88 yards, and he had a 66-yard touchdown run. And I said, that kid's got charisma, like playmaking charisma, where you either have it or you don't. He's got it. Mm-hmm. You've seen it too much because, to your point, he came to Hollywood and he started to fall in love, not just with Hollywood. I thought he started to fall in love with being Caleb Williams. And he thought he had to live up, and he won the Heisman, obviously, a year ago. And then this year, he's really trying to, watch this. I'll outdo myself. I'll outplay my playmaking. I'll do this. Watch this. And to your point, it goes 70% off script. And every once in a while, off script, he makes a throw where you say, my God, I don't know how many humans can make that throw. That's Mahomesian. That's where the comparisons come from.
You can't do that.
Okay, but listen, he has a flair to him, a feel for how to escape, how to pivot, how to throw on the run, and yet sometimes he gets very inaccurate on the run and will make boneheaded plays too. You're going to have to leave a lot of that behind in Los Angeles if that's... You can't play that way because you can't out-athlete people at the next level. At all. There are just too many of them. There are too many athletes.
I tell people all the time, Skip, this is not a 17, 18, 19-year-old kid that just left high school and was at the prom 4 months ago. Yeah. These are grown men with full beards with car seats in the back of the SUV. They're coming to hunt.
They're not playing for Utah anymore.
No, they're not.
Yeah. Okay. I just think he is a special playmaker, and if he gets with the right place, right time, right system, and somebody who can ride herd on it and sort of package it and corral it and harness it, it is superior.
But think about what you just said, though, Skip. You just said a whole lot. Yeah. Package it, harness it, get with the right person. Mm-hmm. You don't think you can say the same thing about Justin Fields? Yeah. If you get with the right person.
He's good.
Justin Fields is only throwing a DJ Moore. He just got him a year ago. He's had 3 different offensive coordinators, for crying out loud. And 2 bad head coaches.
Boy, I would be hard pressed.
And if you Caleb and you going into that situation, think about it. Justin Fields is leaving potentially that situation, which ain't going to change a whole lot.
No.
And you're a rookie going into that situation. Yeah. Well, how much success you think he gonna have?
It won't be easy.
It's not gonna be easy.
And that's not a loaded football team
at all. Yeah. Mooney probably is not gonna be there at the receiver position in free agency. Yeah. Now you got DJ Moore as the only long ranger. That's it.
Okay.
I can't name anybody else on the offensive side of the ball. That's a skill position for them.
So you would make that Ohio State receiver whom you interviewed in Columbus, Ohio.
I would make him the number 1 dude.
You would make him number 1 pick for the first time since 1996 when
yes, I would make him the number 1 guy.
Keyshawn went number 1
I would legitimately make him the number 1 guy. I would take me a tackle to protect my quarterback, and then I would go in free agency with all the money that I have and pick me some players in free agency and build my roster through the draft and be in a division that I think is takeable.
Okay. You're going to have to pay that young receiver a whole lot of money if he's the first pick.
Yeah, you got to give him $40 million. You're going to have to do that with the quarterback as well. Don't tell me anything about resetting the quarterback room and you're going to have to make a decision on Justin Fields. I don't want to, because that to me is one of the biggest, weirdest cop-outs that I hear from people saying you can set the quarterback room by drafting a guy and the money. Kansas City done went to 3 championships or whatever the case since Patrick Mahomes got his deal. Since he got his deal. Yeah. He didn't win. He won on the rookie deal, then they paid him. And the dude done been in 2 more Super Bowls and won. Another one, and another MVP. So that is I don't know where they came up with this. You can reset the quarterback room. Reset the quarterback room. I'm like, come on, stop. That's nothing to do with resetting a quarterback room. Either you good and you can play, or you can't play and you're not good, and therefore they're going to run you out of there if they gave you a boatload of money or not.
Okay. Do you question Caleb's leadership skills now that he's been a Heisman Trophy winner in Hollywood? Is he going to be harder to deal with? Is he going to be sort of above it all? Will he be able to connect with a pro football team?
I think he'll be able to connect with a pro football team, but here's what I will say, though. Pro football don't allow your daddy to come hang out at the practice field. That's not, it's different at the pro level than it is in college. You're now grown.
That's a factor.
You're not gonna, Pops is cool because he's your Pops, but he's not gonna be able to be there every single day and doing those sort of things that may go on in college. He's not gonna have that same type of, I don't want to call it influence, but that around. He's not gonna be, it's a different world that you live in as a professional. And I think he can be a leader as long as he's playing well. Because what he can't do is he can't fall into a fake leadership role. He has to be who he is, right? He has to just be who he is. Whatever it is that we saw of Caleb, that's who he has to be. Don't try to be something different, because those players, those grown men in that locker room, they can see you a mile away. And so can the coaches. I
agree. I thought the father influence played a small part, but a part.
I like Carl.
But in RG3's downfall from his, his father was involved.
He got hurt.
And he never came
back. The
Shanahans
put him out there on a bad leg and he got hurt. But what I would say about Carl, Caleb's dad, is he just got to, sometimes you got to just let the people you hire handle the job. That's how I look at it. I like Carl, but you got to let the people handle the business who you hired to do that.
All right, interesting point. Okay, so now LeBron wants a new long-term deal with the Lakers? Really? 3-4 more years? You ready? Okay. No mercy, no mercy, no mercy. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.